Is where people will be checking in. I'm going to cut around the back because they've let me sort of dip in this way. A couple of things happen right here. I'm going to move you over 1 minute. Two things happen. One, you get a volunteer form. This is an area where you can not only put your personal information, but also say if you want to host a yard sign or if you want to, hold a meeting or do some events. More important thing, though, is this one. This is the presidential preference ballot. And this is what is going to be stuffed into the boxes that are up front when they do the voting. Before that happens, though, there will be speeches from people who are representing the candidates kept to 5 minutes apiece. And then people have an opportunity to talk with their neighbors, and then they will be putting these ballots into the boxes, and eventually they'll be tallying them, and they will count. Let me show you one final thing, Wolf. Look at the size of this crowd now, and literally, this has happened, I would say, in the last 5 or 6 minutes. The line has grown. They're expecting maybe as many as 1,500 people. An interesting thing that they did, because they wanted to keep the neighborhood grassroots feel that is so important to the caucuses, they removed a lot of the chairs that would normally be here. They want not as many chairs as the people because they want people to mingle and talk and have conversations about the candidate that they're supporting so that even though they're in a big, giant space, they keep the homey feel that they think is so important to the caucuses. Wolf? And representatives of the candidates will speak before they actually vote. And Clive, is that right, Soledad? That's right. And, they've been limited to a very tight 5 minutes, and I've been told that they will be yanked off the stage when they get beyond 5 minutes. But they're expecting to hear from every representative of the candidates for 5 minutes before people are allowed to then come up, put those ballots in, and vote. We're going to hear what they have to say. Soledad, thanks very much. Let's go over to CNN's John King. He's over at the Magic Wall for us. John, give us a little flavor of what you're going to be doing, what we should expect to see in the course of this evening. Well, let's pick off just what Soledad just said. She said she was in the West Des Moines suburbs. That's right here. That's right here. See that dark red? This is 4 years ago. That's Mitt Romney. So if Mitt Romney does well where Soledad is tonight, that means he's at least starting to replicate what he did 4 years ago. Now, that wasn't enough, Wolf. 4 years ago, Mike Huckabee, 35%, Mitt Romney, 25%, because of all this orange in the middle. Those are your small towns. That's where Peter Hamby is. Small town, evangelical, Christian conservative, Tea Party, Iowa. Let's wipe out the map from 4 years ago, and let's come forward. This is why we're so excited. The first votes tonight, they begin to fill in this map, and you'll watch it happen live. These colors will change as the vote results come in. Why does this matter? Because we're going to look at a number of things. One of the things we're going to look at, we've talked about this a lot, the evangelical vote. The darker the area of the state, the higher the percentage of voters who define themselves as evangelicals or born-again Christians. This was the biggest slice of the electorate 4 years ago. That's why Huckabee won. Will they turn out in as high numbers this time? Will other Republicans turn out? Will the evangelicals, despite their numerical numbers, have the same percentage of the vote? That's a huge question. It's very important. The evangelical slice, Wolf, is important. And throughout the night, we'll also show you the Tea Party vote and the more traditional Republican establishment vote. It's not just about how many Republicans turn out tonight. It's which piece of the party they come from. You know what? Michelle Bachmann is speaking in Cedar Falls to the folks out there. Let's listen in briefly.
Generation is sacrificed for us, including our military, including our veterans. My father signed up to serve honorably in the United States Air Force here in Black Hawk County. It is for them, it is for their memory that we are here tonight, because we are here to reclaim the greatness of this country. We are unwilling to allow Barack Obama to implement socialism in the United States of America. That will not happen on our watch. We won't let it. That's why, as a member of Congress, I stood up against Obamacare. I stood up and was counted and led 40,000 Americans to Washington, D.C. to say no to the crown jewel of socialism, which is socialized medicine. We cannot allow the federal government to run the housing in this country. We can't allow the federal government to run the automobile industry in this country. We're better than that. We're America. Barack Obama continues to treat us like we are a third world banana republic. We aren't. We're the United States. He continues to make decision after decision for unilateral... All right, you hear Michelle Bachmann. She's making literally a last-minute appeal to the folks at that caucus to vote for her. Newt Gingrich, by the way, is getting ready to speak as well. Much more of our coverage of the Iowa caucuses coming up.
CNN's coverage of the Iowa caucuses is sponsored by America's Natural Gas Alliance. Smarter power today. Go to CNNPolitics.com to get the most up-to-date news and facts from the best political team on television.
All energy development comes with some risk, but proven technologies allow natural gas producers to supply affordable, cleaner energy while protecting our environment. Across America, these technologies protect air by monitoring air quality and reducing emissions, protect water through conservation and self-contained recycling systems, and protect land by reducing our footprint and respecting wildlife. America's Natural Gas. Domestic, abundant, clean energy to power our lives. That's smarter power today.
The more you lose, the more you lose. Because for every 2 pounds you lose through diet and exercise, Ally can help you lose 1 more by blocking some of the fat you eat. Let's fight fat with Ally.
With Expedia Rewards, I now earn points however I travel.
Here's your hot towel, sir.
Oh, thanks. Even if I can't always fly the same airline.
Careful, it's very hot.
Or stay at the same hotel. Because now, with Expedia Rewards, I earn points for any flight and any hotel, too. I've been known to do a little bit of skiing, so maybe... rewards any way I travel. Except naked. What a shame. Expedia.com.
I believe that the presidency is a management position.
It's time to stop spending.
Guys, you need a plan for running the country.
I'm going to vote based on the issues.
I have twice been laid off. I'm ready to go back to work.
CNN Tonight, a Piers Morgan special live at midnight. Piers has the last word on Iowa and the first on New Hampshire. Rick Santorum joins him live tonight midnight.
Main Street Bistro. Enjoy your favorite restaurants for half the cost. We've worked out deals with some of our area's best restaurants and businesses to give you half-off gift certificates. That's right, 50% off. Each week we will feature a restaurant of the week. At 10 a.m. each Tuesday, we will open up the online store for that week's business. But you have to be fast. We are only able to provide a limited number of certificates each week. Be sure to check back weekly for more half-off gift certificates from Main Street Bistro.
Welcome to the charter facility on the International Dateline. This is today, while over here is tomorrow, where scientists are working to bring you the latest technology like the Charter Bundle, the most powerful internet, TV and HD, and Charter phone. And with a Charter price guarantee, the price you pay yesterday, today, will be the price you pay tomorrow, where I am now.
In yesterday's clothes.
Live coverage of the New Hampshire primary, CNN, next Tuesday night, 7 Eastern.
Some 6,000 people expected at the caucus site in Cedar Falls. We just heard from Congresswoman Bachmann speaking to those who are already there. Speaker Gingrich is now talking. Let's listen in to some of what he has to say.
Of his administration may cripple America for several generations. So the decision you are making is very, very important. In considering my candidacy, I ask you to just think of 4 things. First, I am the only candidate who worked with Ronald Reagan to turn around the economy, to grow jobs, and at the same time to defeat the Soviet Empire in the 1980s. And who then went on taking the Reagan playbook and in the 1990s reformed welfare, cut taxes, brought unemployment down to 4.2%, helped create 11 million new jobs, and balanced the budget for 4 years. This is not a time for another amateur. We've had 3 years of an amateur. Washington's too complicated. The problems are too hard. Second, I ask you to consider who can stand up to Obama's billion-dollar campaign. Meet him in debate in October and decisively repudiate his policies, his principles, his values, and his ideas, and win despite every smear, every attack, and every distortion which you know their billion-dollar campaign will launch. And I suggest to you given the debates you've seen, I would come far closer to being able to decisively outline who he is and defeat him. Third, we have run a relentlessly positive campaign. We've done, our ads have been positive, the speeches have been positive. You have a chance tonight to send a signal to America that the consultant-driven, viciously negative campaigns are totally wrong for this year when America is in these kind of problems. And you can do that by refusing to vote for anyone who has run negative ads, and you can insist on voting for someone who's been positive. Finally, the conservative movement has an opportunity to take advantage of all of Obama's weaknesses and win one of the great historic victories of the 21st century. With your help, we will try to lead that movement to a decisive change in Washington for our children, our grandchildren, and the future of our country. Thank you very, very much.
Former Speaker Newt Gingrich addressing the crowds in Cedar Falls and the caucus site there. David Gergen, Gloria Borger standing by. What has happened to Newt Gingrich? I mean, what does he need to accomplish tonight? Is anywhere in the top 4, does that give him new life?
It helps. What we saw tonight was a smoldering Newt Gingrich. He's very angry, and he let go today. He's run a positive campaign for the most part.
He called Romney today a liar.
He called a liar. He caused a real stir today by going, that's an old taboo in politics, to go after someone in your own party and call them a liar in the midst of a major campaign. That really breaks a taboo.
Bob Dole did that.
Yeah,
remember? Stop lying about my record. Exactly. Didn't work out so well for him.
It didn't work out so well, but I think the question now is, I think he has to finish in the top 4. There's a fairly good chance he will. He's clearly going to go to New Hampshire. I think the question becomes, is he going to go after Mitt Romney in the way he went after him today? Will he continue to do that? In which case, this is going to get to be a very, very tough
Does he have the money, though, to run counter ads? Because, I mean, about half the ads that have been run in Iowa were aimed at Gingrich and clearly took control.
And I would argue that's one of the reasons he actually went positive, because he made virtue out of a necessity. And the necessity, he just didn't have the money. So he said, okay, I'm going to go positive. But he's faced more than $3.5 million of negative advertising from Romney's super PAC, as it's called, and that's which Romney does not direct, by the way, although
Gingrich has said to him clearly, look, these are his millionaire friends who are doing this, and he could tell them to stop.
That's why Romney says, I can't tell him to stop. That's why Gingrich said, no, you're lying. You can't stop.
So here's the thing. We have debates coming up, and it'll be interesting to see if he does attack Romney directly in these debates and say, stop lying about my record, right?
He is in the lead in South Carolina. So the hope for him, I mean, what is the hope for him out of tonight?
To make South Carolina the firewall. If Romney can win tonight and then win in New Hampshire, he will have momentum, and many people think he will then win South Carolina.
But for Gingrich,
Gingrich really would say the top 4. I mean, you know, he came out the other day and said he wasn't going to win Iowa.
But if he does if he does 4th place, he can make the argument that Ron Paul is not sustainable, that Santorum's is not sustainable. But he's in the lead in South Carolina, and therefore can win the sort of the mini caucus.
Actually, when you talk to the Romney people, they will tell you that it's Rick Perry and Newt Gingrich, they believe, who can raise the most money. So they would rather that those guys finish way back, because those are the people that they believe have some sustainability in terms of raising the money.
That's right. That's exactly right. The Romney people have said very clearly that they think there are only 2 people in this race who could potentially beat them. One is Gingrich and the other is Perry. They would like to have both of them disposed of tonight. That we really would. If Gingrich follows, you know, if he's way back in 4th, or if he's even 5th, that makes it a lot harder for him. But he has shown, Anderson, he's one of the candidates who can live off the land quote. And do that very well.
Live off the debate.
I mean,
if the debates were the first primaries, you could argue that Newt Gingrich actually rode those to the top of the polls at one point because he was so good at debating.
So you're saying, though, he can live off the land. He doesn't have a big campaign infrastructure. He doesn't need a lot to raise a lot of money to be able to continue through to South Carolina.
Right, exactly. But he can. He has to defend himself out in South Carolina, and that's going to be a really interesting state. But I think the critical thing tonight is how angry he is.
And how long that continues, if he maintains that. We'll talk more with David Gergen, Gloria Borger, all our analysts